Welcome to another episode of How to Do Character Voices with the Beginner Player. This is just a series for your regular player with no voice acting experience to help you show up to your table and create an interesting personality that your players will remember. Today we are going to cover shifters. Shifters are a bit of a broad topic, so I'm going to cover them one at a time. There are 3 different sub-races of shifter that I'm going to cover, starting off with the Beasthide. A Beasthide is described as stoic and solid. A Beasthide shifter draws strength and stability from the beast within. So we're going to do a sort of very gravelly and low kind of a voice, almost like our Dragonborn character, but make it a bit more kind of grunty. So we're going to construct this element piece by piece. The first is, how fast does he talk? He's probably going to talk a little bit slower. If we're thinking something like a bear or a boar, it's going to be a bit longer words to really emphasize what you're saying. And then next is going to be pitch. Of course, we're going to go a little bit lower. Just lower your voice a little bit, and it's not going to sound anything super cool yet. But then on number 3, we're going to constrict it a lot. So this is where if you kind of talk in a really gravelly voice and just constrict your vocal cords, you're going to get this ah. You want to get that kind of growling sound. So once again, we're just going to kind of slow down our voice, lower the pitch a little bit, and then gravel it. I'm scary and threatening. You're standing in my way. Something kind of like that. And then last is the loudness. You can do really either, you can make this character really loud, or you can make him kind of more quiet in back of the room, and then maybe he shifts and he gets really loud. So he's kind of sitting there in the back of the room, just brooding and stewing and just, they didn't pay my tab. They said they would. Now I'm angry. Something like that. So just to run through the Beasthide one more time, and of course you can change up this character however you want. The first is, how fast does he talk? I'm going to do mine a little bit slower. Right. I'm really angry and mad all the time, and it's in my blood. I'm really mad all the time. A joke I imagine this character having is that he's constantly angry for absolutely no reason. The wind is so warm today. It makes me mad! Something stupid like that. The beautiful autumn scenery. It makes me angry! So you get that kind of low, pitch, constricted and loud sound, and you put it all together and it sounds a bit like a Beasthide type character. So the next sub-race is Longtooth. Here's the short description of Longtooth. Longtooth shifters are fierce and aggressive, but they form deep bonds with their friends. Many Longtooth shifters have canine traits that become more pronounced as they shift, but they might instead draw on tigers, hyenas, and other predators. So for a Longtooth, we're going to do something not so low, but more push out with your chest and kind of get a fierce sound. Kind of that general area. And when the character's like not, flipping out and getting all mad at something stupid, he's just kind of going to have that sort of gravelly, why am I here? Something kind of like that. So the 4 elements of this. How fast does it talk? We're going to do kind of shorter, more abrupt words. Yeah, where's the action? So you're going to talk a little bit faster than you normally would. Then pitch. So you want to actually keep we're not going to change the pitch a whole lot, really. You kind of want to do sort of a middle, even tone. You could make it a little bit lower if you wanted to, or a little bit higher. For me personally, I'm going to keep it at that middle tone. That and then breathiness. I'm going to constrict this a lot. That constricted sound, that so you get that growl. And then the loudness, this character, it describes him as fierce and aggressive, so he's going to be really loud. I smell you. And then if you want to add that canine trait, sort of kind of make it clear that this character is really animalistic, you can make a snort sound as you talk. So to make that snorting sound, you're basically just snoring. So picture an old man snoring and try to replicate that sound. Picture you're sitting next to this person and he is just going on and just snoring as loud as you possibly can. Try to replicate that sound by breathing in through your nose while allowing a little bit of air to come in through your mouth. I usually put my tongue a little bit towards the roof of my mouth, and you can make different sounds. So you can kind of hear the difference there. So the last step to the long tooth is to kind of put it all together. It might be prudent to have your character sound more mellow so you're not hurting your voice doing this literally the entire session. But once you shift, you can kind of bring that out. Some of your characters just sitting there. Now I'm really mad. And I give in to my rage. And that's what we're going to do pretty much for the long tooth. The last shifter is called the swift stride. Swift strides are graceful and quick, typically feline in nature. Swift strides are often aloof and difficult to pin down physically or socially. So he's a little bit, he gets charisma bonuses and dex bonuses, more of a roguish type character. Here's kind of what I picture for a swift stride. Picture sort of a man, he looks mostly normal, a little bit of hair coming out of his ears and sort of a more feline-esque figure, but he seems mostly human. And as you approach him, this is what you hear. Run before I... Khajiit has wares if you have coin. So for the swift stride, I would do sort of a Khajiit like from Skyrim. Khajiit has wares if you have coin. The Khajiit, they really don't do a lot of drastic change in the voice. They don't really change how fast they talk. They don't really change the pitch either. It's kind of right in this octave I'm using now. It all just comes in the breathiness and the amount of air you push out. So number 3 and 4, breathiness and loudness. So for breathiness, you want to constrict a little bit. Khajiit has wares if you have coin. That constricting sound. And then push out a little bit less air than you normally would. J'zargo knows many places in the forest. J'zargo is fast. J'zargo can unlock the door. J'zargo smells something he can steal. Is it mine? Most definitely. That is how I would do the swift stride. You can really kind of do any voice for the swift stride. You could do something a little bit more light and smooth as well. I failed to steal another coin. How shameful. I failed to steal another coin. How shameful. Poor me. Oh, bother. But there are many more things to steal. Swift strides are really fast as well. So you could do, maybe talk a bit faster. We received your walking speed increased by initial 5 feet. Initially moved up to 10 feet as a reaction when the enemy in the 205 feet. This movement doesn't provoke out any attacks. If ability score increased to dexterity and charisma +1. You have proficiency and have correct skill. The walking speed increased by 5. We've shifted your walking speed increased by initial 5 feet. Additionally, you can move 10 speed and extra, and then the movement doesn't provoke out any attack. So you could just kind of speak absolute gibberish. No party is ever truly complete unless you have a party member that literally no one can understand when they talk. So that's another funny idea you could bring to the table. We hope this helps give you some inspiration for different characters and ideas you can bring to your table to have fun. And as always, don't forget, it doesn't have to be perfect. Being silly is perfectly fine. And at the end of the day, D&D is all about having fun.